They say love is love, but what happens when love crosses color lines, continents, and cultural histories? I'm married to a white man. I'm black, South African, and queer. And while our love feels as real and honest and as tender as any other, I'd be lying if I said it didn't come with layers. In a world that's still reckoning with race, colonial legacies, and queer identities, being in an interracial relationship isn't just about who you love, it's about how the world sees that love and how you both choose to show up in spite of it. Here's the thing I've noticed lately: we're not the only ones. More and more interracial couples are popping up all around me. From my straight friends to my gay ones, black and white, Indian and Afrikaans, colored and white, mixed in every way you can imagine. And it's beautiful, complex, messy, and possibly even magical. So today, we're going there. We're talking about interracial dating in 2025. What's changed? What hasn't? What it means to love someone who doesn't look like you, and what the world tries to project onto that love.
It's Wednesdays.
Hello, hello, hello. Queers, gays, theys, hays, straights. Welcome back to another episode of Wednesdays with Woody, your weekly unfiltered dive into love, identity, culture, and everything in between. Whether you're dating, married, divorced, or proudly solo, we're unpacking the real stuff that shapes how we connect. And this week, it's all about interracial love: the myths, the magic, the microaggressions. So let's get into it. When people talk about interracial couples, they often focus on the aesthetics, the Instagram photo ops, the cute mixed babies, the world peace through love fantasy. But anyone who's in an interracial relationship knows the fantasy and the reality are two different things. Falling in love is the easy part. It's what happens after: the stares, the unspoken judgments, the offhand comments from strangers, family, and even friends. And it kind of gets things complicated. It's explaining why someone's aunt won't speak to you. It's being told, oh, I've always wanted to try dating a black guy, like you're a new flavor or a frozen yogurt shop. It's navigating moments where the person you love just doesn't get what you've lived through, and learning how to build bridges instead of walls. In South Africa, this gets even more layered. Our history isn't just written in books, it's lived. A backdate legally prohibited interracial relationships until the 1980s. That's not ancient history, that's within living memory. And while the laws may have changed, the attitudes haven't always kept up. But it's 2025, and young people across race and orientation are saying love is love. They're dating across lines, not to make a statement, but because they found connection. And that's powerful. Can we talk about the elephant in the room for a minute? Fetishization. There's a difference between loving someone with their culture and loving someone for their culture. One affirms while the other reduces. Black men, for instance, are often sexualized in both queer and straight spaces. We're seen as dominant, hypersexual, erotic, but not always emotionally human. It's not just about sex, it's about expectation. Expectation to perform, to fulfill someone's fantasy, to be strong but never soft, desirable but not complicated. And for white partners, especially those raised in privilege, there's often unlearning that needs to happen, because loving someone from a different background means interrogating the lens you've been taught to see them through. Are you attracted to the person or the idea of the person? Are you in a relationship, or are you collecting wokeness points? It's not always malicious, but it's real. And if we don't name it, we can't heal. The truth is, all of us, regardless of race, have been shaped by systems. We've absorbed stereotypes, internalized hierarchies, and interracial relationships don't erase that. But it can confront it. It can be a site of healing, but only if both partners are willing to do the work. So let's break down some myths. Black men only date white partners once they've made it. I've heard that one. Or how about white women who date black men have a thing for danger? Or the inverse. White men who date black men are just living a colonial fantasy. Let's be clear. Love isn't immune to power, but power doesn't automatically mean exploitation. We do need to talk about the ways colonialism, patriarchy, and white supremacy shape desirability. But we also need to leave space for joy, for nuance, for the fact that sometimes you just fall in love with a person who doesn't look like you. And that's not political, that's personal. But that doesn't mean it exists in a vacuum. The stares in the grocery store, the awkward silence at a family dinner, the unspoken question, are they really together, still lingers. And when you're queer and interracial, add 10 more layers. Because now you're not just explaining your love across race, you're explaining it across sexual orientation. And in a society that still doesn't fully respect either. But you know what I've noticed? When people see us, like really see us, they also see something hopeful. Two people choosing connection in a world obsessed with division. Let's get into the numbers. And once again, I'm pulling out some pure research. So bear with me. And obviously it is an American source, so it is what it is. 1 in 6 new marriages in the US are interracial or interethnic. That number's even higher among queer couples. In South Africa, Stats SA found a steady increase in interracial relationships over the last decade, especially among urban millennials. But interestingly, interracial friendships remain relatively low, which tells you just how radical love across color lines still is. What does that mean? It means a lot of people are sleeping together who don't share an Uber pool. It means connection is happening, but community isn't always keeping up. But it's changing. Social media has helped normalize all kinds of love because representation matters. Seeing more interracial couples, gay and straight, sends a quiet signal. You're not weird, you're not alone. And sometimes the most revolutionary thing you can do is hold your partner's hand in public and not let go. Ryan and I don't have it all figured out. Hell no. But we've learned some things. Well, maybe I've learned some things. I've learned to listen without defensiveness, to ask better questions, to talk about the hard stuff before it becomes a landmine. We make space for each other's growth. We laugh when things get heavy. We have hard conversations, sometimes with grace, and sometimes we're just shouting directly at each other. But most importantly, we don't try to erase the differences. We honor them, because our love is not a compromise, it's a collaboration. But I think we need to go a little bit deeper here, because in the queer world especially, interracial dating intersects with other uncomfortable truths, one of which is sexual racism. And let's call it what it is. No fats, no femmes, no Asians, no blacks. That's not preference. That's prejudice with a filter. Sexual racism is the practice of excluding potential partners based on race, often wrapped in the language of just my type or just not my type. But your type didn't fall from the sky. It was programmed through media, through porn, colonial history. It shaped who gets to be seen as desirable and who doesn't. Add to that colorism within communities. lighter skinned folks often being favored, even within black and brown cultures. It creates hierarchy or hierarchy of intention, a hierarchy that bleeds into our dating lives, our clubs, our casual swipes. So, how do we push back? By asking harder questions. Who am I attracted to and why? Who do I never swipe on and what does that say? Love across color lines isn't just a relationship. It's a kind of rebellion. A reminder that we can love outside the boxes we were handed. If you're in an interracial relationship, straight or queer, ask yourself, are we both learning? Are we both listening? Are we naming the hard parts or sweeping them under the same rug? And if you're not in one, let this episode be a window. Not every couple needs your approval, but sometimes they need your understanding. Interracial love isn't the goal. Understanding is. When we date across race, we're not making a statement, we're making a choice. A choice to sit in the discomfort, to have conversations that stretch us, to see beyond stereotypes and into the soul. But when we get it right, when we lead with empathy instead of ego, intention instead of impulse, something shifts. Love becomes a form of resistance, a way of saying, I see you, I honor you, I choose you, even when the world doesn't know what to do with us. And in that way, interracial love becomes more than just a relationship. It becomes a classroom, a revolution, a home. This has been Wednesdays with Woody. If you've ever loved someone who didn't come from your world, know this. You're not alone. Love isn't blind. It's brave. And real love sees everything and stays anyway. Until next time, love harder, listen deeply, and keep showing up. Okay. Ciao.